What's shaking, friends and family? Welcome to the video. Today I wanted to talk about why I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist or Ethereum maximalist, or just really a maximalist of really any sorts. And if you're new, this is your first time watching my videos. I make a lot of videos about cryptocurrency. I'm new to it. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not some genius trader. So take everything I say with a big grain of salt. I'm just some guy on the internet. But I like making videos. I like talking about crypto. And I've gotten to the point where my girlfriend won't listen to me talk about it anymore. So, I have to talk to my webcam. Anyways, let's get into it. So, yeah, here's a kind of an outline. And so this was really something I was going over yesterday. I was looking at the Bitcoin pairs for some of my favorite altcoins. So basically, my favorite coin that's not Bitcoin is Solana, and I was looking at, okay, how is Solana doing against Bitcoin, and it just started me thinking about how when I first got into Bitcoin, when I first got into crypto, like as with most people, I think Bitcoin is kind of the first one, and it's the most popular one, and a lot of people think it's the best one and it's the only one, and that's kind of what I'm here to say. I'm not trying to say it's not the best, but I'm just trying to say it's not the only useful one. And so here's kind of the tweet storm that I just thought, hey, I might as well make a video about this because I clearly had some thoughts about it. So basically, I was looking at these charts, and I said a couple things here. So in terms of just like, I guess what you got to ask yourself, right, is like, okay, you're coming into cryptocurrency, and honestly, I've started to realize the name currency is kind of misleading, but you're coming into crypto, right? And it's like, why are you coming in? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to save the world? Are you trying to, support a certain philosophy, or are you trying to make money, right? And even I have this guide that it's going to be in the link down below, actually. But the first thing I say in this guide is like, okay, you probably want to make money, right? That's because that's what most people do, right? Most people who ask me about crypto, they want to make money, and I want to make money too, right? And crypto to me is like, it's extremely volatile, extremely risky, but it's has some of the best returns of any asset class. It has the best returns of any asset class. So yeah, if you want to make money, right? Let's say you want to make money and you're not concerned about the other stuff. Then that's kind of what my video will go with that assumption, because I'm here to make money. I love the technology. I love the promise of like financial freedom, sound money, all that stuff. But on an individual level, I am here to make money. So Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin since its inception. Man, I can't freaking talk. But a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, they'll say like, oh, everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. Well, here's where Ethereum started. This is just on Binance, but so it's up 600% against Bitcoin. And so it's just not true, right? It's just not true. And that's a long term. This is since 2016. The other thing, this is the big one, guys. So people assume that they'll be able to predict the market. So cryptocurrencies have been around for 11 years or 10 years. And people assume that like, oh, because of what's happened the past 10 years, that's what's going to happen for the next 100 years. Which is just ridiculous. Honestly, it's ridiculous, right? So just because most coins trend to zero against Bitcoin in the past doesn't mean that all of them will in the future, right? I mean, I think that logic, you can kind of see like how that logic is flawed. And the other one is just, I'd rather be open-minded and optimistic. And so, being a rational optimist, and this is something that Naval says. So I'll get into kind of a couple of the things that I just went over like while doing some research for this and kind of some of my inspiration. So this was an article I found on the Defiant, right? It's like a DeFi newsletter and YouTube channel. It's a great place for information, by the way. I highly recommend it. But here's an article I found by Bailey Reutzel, and she kind of talks about her experience at the Bitcoin conference recently, right? So a lot of people went to Miami, and there's a conference for Bitcoin. It's really cool. That's where they announced like El Salvador was going to, man, I'm forgetting the word. Oh, it's going to be legal tender in El Salvador, which is it's just fucking awesome, guys. It's really awesome. I love Bitcoin. And anyways, but she kind of outlined some stuff. So there's this part right here, right? Where there's plenty of scams, but just to call everything else besides Bitcoin a shitcoin doesn't make sense anymore. And so this is actually one of the things I also mentioned in my Twitter here. So yeah, like in 2017, even though I wasn't around in 2017, you had a lot of these coins that were like super speculative, and they didn't have working products, right? And they were doing these ICOs, initial coin offerings on Ethereum, and they were getting billions of dollars dumped into them because everybody thought this was like the next thing, and it all came crashing down basically, right? And if you look at like all of it, I mean, including Bitcoin, but if you look at 2017, if you look at 2017 here, right, you'll see. So yeah, it all came crashing down. Yeah. So you see this parabolic blow off top, boom, and then it all came down, right? In the matter of, just a couple of weeks, right? It was down 60%, kind of similar to what's happening right now. But I digress. But back then, honestly, I'm not even gonna. I didn't do enough research on what those coins were, but a lot of them went to zero, right? And they're still not worth anything, even after we had another a bull run. So there's definitely like reason for people to think that Bitcoin is the way to go, and like just buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, don't trade it. It's kind of a simple way to get exposure to this these digital assets. And I don't think it's wrong either, but I just don't think it's like, I think it's what's wrong is to say that that's the best or the only way. And so again, going back to this article. So yeah, a lot of the altcoins were in 2014, which is even before, they were just copies of Bitcoin with new names on them. And then she says in the ICO boom, it was frothier than a Starbucks latte, which I love. It's a great article. But, now there's actually some things that are really cool, right? There's DeFi and there's NFTs. There's a lot of other things that people are kind of speculating on and trying to build. To me, though, like DeFi and NFTs, they work right now. They do something they do several things that are very, very valuable, right? Even if you're a Bitcoin maxi and you want to like get a decentralized loan against your wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, right? On Aave or something. It would make sense. Even if you only believe in Bitcoin, like it makes sense for some of these DeFi protocols. So, and therefore it makes sense that you have to believe in other coins, whatever. But yeah, I just think that like calling everything a shitcoin, it's kind of reductive logic. So that's a great article. And then yeah, so here this is on Naval. So I just took my highlights out. But basically he talks about how we're irrational. And if you guys don't know Naval, Naval is just like my freaking idol. This guy is a successful investor and tech entrepreneur, and he's just like, honestly, he's kind of like a philosopher. Like he just drops some absolute gems. He's a very, very smart guy, a lot smarter than me. Anyways, so he talks about how if you go back 5,000 10,000 years, the optimist is the one who would say, oh, the tiger's going the other way, and the pessimist would say, no, it's coming this way, like we better run. And the optimist would get eaten by the tiger and killed, right? So we're descended from pessimists. We're genetically hardwired to be pessimists, but modern society is far, far safer. And what he kind of outlines here is that this part is just genius to me. much more likely than the upside is unlimited, the downside is limited. So your upside is unlimited, downside is limited. So if you override your pessimism, that means you can take some slightly irrationally optimistic bets, because the upside is unlimited. If you start SpaceX, Tesla, or Uber, you can make billions of dollars for society and for yourself and change the world. So, and honestly, I've heard this from a lot of like VCs. Like they, I was actually in an episode. I'll plug it real quick, but it was actually in an episode of Uncommon Core that I watched. Where is it? Anyways, basically they were saying that like this VC, this is awesome episode of Uncommon Core. So basically, this guy, Kyle Samani, he runs, I think it's called Multicoin Capital. Yeah, Multicoin Capital. And it's one of the most successful venture funds this crypto cycle, right? So basically he says that when he has a blockchain entrepreneur come to him and they say, hey, look, here's my thesis. Like, this is what's going to happen in the future, and this is what I'm building. He just automatically kind of gives them the benefit of the doubt and says, okay, let's assume that what they're building is like, or that their thesis is correct. Like, let's assume that people are going to pay billions of dollars to get digital art, or that they're going to pay billions of dollars to get, digital collectibles, or that this protocol is going to generate billions of dollars of revenue because of transaction fees and trading tokens, right? And because it makes more sense, it's actually kind of rational to be optimistic. Again, going back to Naval, the upside is unlimited. So again, this is kind of going back to, if I'm going back to like why I'm not a Bitcoin or Ethereum maximalist, is because the upside financially is unlimited, right? If you're right, the downside is limited. Like, and I think this is a good time to pull out Peter McCormack. So if you don't know Peter McCormack, he is, he's the host of the What Bitcoin Did podcast. It's a great podcast about Bitcoin. And he actually has this whole thread about how he, in 2017, he basically traded his way to $1 million from 32K, right, to 1.2 million. And he thought he was a genius, right? And then he lost all his money because there were shit coins. They went to zero, and he lost a lot of Bitcoin. So at one point he had 150 Bitcoin, then he was down to 80 Bitcoin, and then it continued to drop. So he just kind of left without much Bitcoin. And I think that this is a good, a good tale for investors to consider. But I also think, again, going back 2017, it was markedly different, right? You had all these things that people were not using. Today you have millions of users on these protocols, like decentralized exchanges and, NFTs, like all this stuff. It has real value and real use. So again, the downside, that's kind of why I brought up Peter McCormack. The downside is that you lose money. So you can lose money. You can lose a lot of money. You can lose all your money. The upside, though, is unlimited. Like if you were an early investor in any of these like DeFi blue chips, like let's say Uniswap might not be a great one, but if we do sushi, right? Like this is when it came out on Binance, but just last year, look, sushi was under $1. I mean, it's just crazy. And this is, I think it's still underpriced here, right? But Sushi Swap, you'd be up 2,000% on if you pick the right protocol during a bear market, right? Or like YFI, right? I mean, probably similar thing. Yeah, even more. Or sorry, it's 400%. It's not more. These are on Binance, so they're not like true since right when they came out. But yeah, that's my point, is like, if we're talking about making money, which everyone I know who comes into crypto, it's like they want to make money. And I'm not saying trading is the best way to make money, or investing is the best way to make money, or the investing in crypto is the best way to make money. But I think if you're investing to make money, it actually makes sense to at least consider other cryptos, you know? So that's my point. That's pretty much all I wanted to share. And to recap, like, I agree with Bitcoin maximalists on a lot of things. Like, I'm a huge fan of like Michael Saylor's philosophy about stuff, Dan Held, Robert Breedlove. Again, if you go to the link in my thing with the free Google Doc, Intro to Crypto, I mention all those guys. I plug their YouTube videos. So I actually agree with a lot of the stuff that they have to say about money and why Bitcoin is a good form of money. But I think that the term cryptocurrencies is can be misleading, because a lot of these are not really like a currency. Like, let's say Sushi Swap, right? Which I like. It's not really used as a currency. It's honestly more of a security, which, yeah, the regulation will probably come one day, but you know, Bitcoin is the best currency, I would say. But you know, Ethereum is more like a commodity, or Solana is more like a commodity, right? Like, it's a work token that you use on the network. It's like the network's governance token, essentially. So anything that happens on the network, like, kind of gives value to the underlying token. Anyways, this video is getting long now. If you made it this far, I appreciate it, to get my thoughts on it. And more stuff to come. This was just a quick little ramble about why I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, why I think it's rational to consider other projects in crypto, outside of crypto, you know, stocks, whatever, real estate. Like, to just, you don't have to diversify. I'm not saying you have to diversify, but to act like diversifying is like foolish, I don't know. That's foolish to think that. So anyways, guys, appreciate you coming to the video. And I hope to see you on the next one. Peace and love.